Thank you very much. It's nice to be here. My business partner, Gilad, and recently my wife, Annie, tell me that I'm a name dropper. So when John Crowley called to say that he really wanted me to come here and present an award, I thought, well, at the very least, I get a sexy weekend out of it with my wife, which is nice when you have 3 young kids. It's not something you always get to do. So thank you for that. And look where I am and look where he is. So I guess the reason I'm here is because almost 2 years ago, our son, Eitani, was diagnosed with Duchenne muscular dystrophy. So this is the elevator pitch. Since then, we've moved from London to Boston, had another baby, started a drug development company that's focused on accelerating treatments for this disease, and now have 3 different programs that we're very excited about, and we're developing for patients with suffering from this disease. I would actually encourage you to keep an eye on us, and I really feel like it's a good way of approaching a problem of this sort, and we're proud of it, and I actually feel like we're kind of just about to clear the runway and take off. And so I was thinking what I'm going to talk about. I thought about why is it that's the way that we decided to do things, because obviously this room is filled with people who are doing quite amazing things. So why did we pick our path? I think it was a result of a process that me as a former banker for many years is very straightforward. First of all, you see a problem, no matter what it is, you do due diligence on it, and you really try to understand what's going on. So we kind of, Annie and I and our network kind of took a dive into this disease and tried to really understand, so what's going on? I actually told this some people before. It took me like 3 days to pronounce, somebody else was saying that. And then it took me another 3 days to figure out what it's called in Hebrew so that I can tell my parents what we're dealing with, because I didn't actually know what this disease was, never heard of it before, and kind of wish I never did. But hey, this due diligence really includes understanding everything that's going on with this disease, but it's not just the science. This is about who the players are, which companies, which scientists, which universities, which clinics. What are the economics around it? Is there any money people can make if they do this right? Where are money coming from? Who's investing? Who's donating? Who are the main people involved? A whole bunch of them in this room tonight, by the way. What kind of infrastructure, where the gaps are? And the conclusion was, we got to start a company. It's a biotech company. It's going to develop drugs for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. Then there were only 2 problems. One is I knew nothing about biotech, and I never ran a company. So what I did is I partnered with 2 amazing guys. Andre, who's the chairman of Solid and a really good friend who has got kind of all the biotech anybody would ever want and then some. So we got him kind of hooked into this idea, and he's very excited to be a part of it. And Gilad, who's sitting here with Cheryl, his wife, who's got more of a CEO and entrepreneur kind of experience than most people I know, and has really become a part of the family of Solid and our family too. And then I was thinking, maybe that's kind of what's on us, those that have been so personally affected by rare disease. Maybe what's on us is to bring into this fight others that perhaps have not been affected in the same way, but have this kind of very, very serious expertise and professional way and knowledge and experience about them that can really help us win this. And the person who's receiving this award tonight also wasn't personally affected by a rare disease, but at the same time, he recognized the need and the urgency and the opportunity. And he's channeling a lot of his energy and some considerable resources of his company in our direction. And I'd like to actually invite Natalie Douglas to introduce Monsef.
Through his personal commitment and leadership, Dr. Slawi has championed a transformative commitment to rare disease within one of the world's largest pharmaceutical companies. In his role as chairman, global R&D and vaccines at GlaxoSmithKline, Monsef spearheaded and overhauled the R&D organization. And this has been a significant and direct impact on rare disease drug development. Thanks to his leadership, there are now over 50 therapies for rare disease in development at GlaxoSmithKline. Monsef's contribution is more than significant, profoundly and positively impacting the lives of millions of people affected by rare disease globally. Dr. Slary is a true champion for rare disease today and a symbol of hope for our future. We wish to thank him sincerely for his outstanding contribution and honor him this evening as our industry trailblazer.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Thank you to Global Genes, Ilan, Nicole, and thank you, everybody. It's a real honor, actually, and privilege to accept this award on behalf of GlaxoSmithKline, in fact, on behalf of the 110,000 employees we have in the company, and more specifically on behalf of the more than 10,000 scientists in our research and development organization. It is their work, it is our work that I'm here to take an award for this evening. And I know this means a lot, enormously, to each and every one of us at GlaxoSmithKline, because this really is a recognition of what we stand for, why we come to work every day. It stands for our mission to help patients do more, feel better, and live longer. Particularly those patients that are most vulnerable, those patients who can't afford our medicines, for instance, those patients who live in countries and have diseases that only touch those countries, the least developed countries, that have no financial return for those who invest to make vaccines or medicines against them. And of course, as relevant to us this evening, for those patients who suffer from rare or very rare or ultra-rare diseases where, again, the financial returns on allocating resources of a very large pharmaceutical company are not straightforward and not obvious. And over the past almost 3 decades I have been with the company, I have witnessed that it's not words, but it's our actions that demonstrate our commitment to those most vulnerable patients. Just as quick examples, for the past 30 years, we have invested relentlessly to discover and develop a vaccine against malaria, a parasite that kills between 600 and 800,000 children every year in sub-Saharan Africa. And we were very happy about 18 months ago to achieve the largest phase 3 trial positively for this vaccine and fight it for approvals. And we have committed to make it available to those countries at cost with no return to the company. Or for some of you, thank you. And more recently, maybe last week, you have heard that the first ever human vaccine against Ebola, a disease that threatens the very existence of a number of countries in Western Africa, the first ever vaccine, phase 1 trial just started, and it's a GlaxoSmithKline vaccine in partnership with the NIH. And on a rare disease, the same commitment over a long period of time exists, as you may know. In 1996, the first effective treatment for pulmonary arterial hypertension, Flolan, was launched by our company. And about 5 years ago, I have decided the creation of a specific rare disease unit within our organization to really focus and accelerate our commitment to rare disease with phase 3 programs for development of medicines against Duchenne muscular dystrophy, Fabry disease, severe combined immunodeficiency syndrome, and others. And the outcomes sometimes are very positive, as is the case with ADA's KID, and sometimes are disappointing and difficult, as is always the case in R&D. For instance, about 12 months ago, during this conference in 2013, we have announced, unfortunately, that the phase 3 program that we had for the treatment of Duchenne muscular dystrophy did not meet its endpoint. However, our commitment didn't waver. We have, in partnership with our biotech collaborators, Prosenza, handed back this program to them, but also committed all our resources to help them make a success out of it, because we came to the conclusion that they would be better fit than us to actually make this medicine available to patients despite not having met the primary endpoint in our phase 3 program. Our commitment to rare diseases will be as long, as strong, and as unwavering as our commitment has been, for instance, to the malaria vaccine. Whether it takes 1 year, 5 years, a decade, or 3 decades, we will help. And I have to tell you, this evening only further strengthened that commitment. I'm so impressed, I'm so inspired, I'm so admirative of all the people I have heard, of the stories I have heard, of the children I have seen. I would like to really congratulate Global Genes for what you're doing. You are creating the conditions for those challenges to indeed be taken away, and for these patients to access medicines that don't exist today, but I'm confident, thanks to our science and our technologies, as not just GSK, but as the industry and as a scientific community, we will make available. Thank you.